everybody. Trying to get this set up here for a second. We are in Arizona. I-25, Arizona. Got ourselves a big 18-mile grade. Between 4 and 6%. Here we go, see? 18 miles to go, 6% grade, next 4 miles. We're not really going to talk about the grade though. I mean, there's not really a lot that I need to worry about here because I've got an empty trailer. If I can't control a truck with an empty trailer down the hill, there's something wrong with me. But let's see, what we can do is let's talk about the news. Not the national news, not what's been going on in the world, just what's been going on in my life the last few weeks. So for whatever reason, a couple of weeks back, I got a trip that took me all the way over to Maryland. I don't know why, because I am a Southwest dedicated driver. I like my desert. This is scenery to me. I love it. But yeah, they gave it to me. You know, I didn't exactly turn it down. You know, as far as I'm concerned, miles is miles. I just prefer to be in the Southwest. So I went up there and I came back and I got a whole bunch of footage. I did like a drive-through of Memphis. I did like a little bit of footage in Tennessee. And I even did some stuff up in Maryland and stuff. And then once I was done with that job, you know, the job offer was in like South Baltimore in an area called Jessup. Well, after that, I had a pickup down in South Dakota, which took me basically right through Washington D.C. So I was able to get some footage of some of the spots down there, and then I came back up. You know, I did a pickup at a meat plant that was very fascinating with how they store trailers, because there was like no rhyme or reason. It was literally just put a trailer wherever you see a hole. So basically, I had to find the spot somewhere on the lot, drop the trailer off, and then I spent like an hour trying to look for the trailer that I was supposed to pick up. Yeah, because I mean, it was anywhere on the lot. It took me forever to find it. It turned out it was in like a little corner which I hadn't checked yet. And then I had like a mini heart attack when I went to leave, because the pickup had a scale which we were allowed to use, and I went across the scale, got weighed out, and the original scale ticket said that my drives were like 5,000 pounds over, and I was like, what the hell? You know, it shouldn't have even come that close. So I talked them into letting me go across the scale again, where I was able to flip around and come back. And the second time I ran across, like, everything came out perfect. So I was happy there. But the main point being is that I got like a whole bunch of footage. Well, I went to put it on my computer the other day, but for some reason the computer wasn't fully reading the GoPro. It was having some troubles with that. But what I was able to do was access the GoPro's memory directly, and then transfer those files over to my external hard drive. The problem that I have with that though is when I transfer them, each time I make a video, what it does is is that the GoPro makes like an 8-minute segment, and then it'll title it like H01 02 0127 or something like that, you know. And then and then if you're still filming after that point, then each file afterwards is H02, H03, H04. Well, for whatever reason, there were no H02 or H03 files. So basically, what I ended up with is basically a whole bunch of partial videos. So all that filming that I did is no good, and I can't figure out where the lost files went. So a lot of footage made and a lot of footage wasted. Oh, what other news? That load that I picked up in South Dakota, I went to prison for that load. Yeah, did a little bit of time. Now that one was really fascinating because it had this weird address which I didn't recognize. You know, it was just a really weird name on it, and so I looked it up on Google and saw that I was going to a prison to go drop this load off. Now I have been driving for like 4 years, and this is the first time that I've ever have done a prison run. I didn't even realize that my company had contracts for those. I thought that you know, I know that like Swift in England go to prison a lot, either drop something off or because they ran over somebody. But yeah, I know that a lot of them do it, but this was the first time that I did that. I would have loved to get some footage of that as well. That was a very fascinating night or trip, whatever you want to call it. You know, it was a very fascinating event. Unfortunately, though, they don't let you take cameras in, so I had to relinquish all cameras, all weapons. What else did I have to give them? Of course, when that I had to give them something else. But yeah, that even it included like my dash cam. So I don't even have a dash cam footage of it. But what you had to do there was, first of all, somebody else gets into your truck. He's like a ride along to make sure that you don't do anything right. Which meant that I had to move Kitty and all that, throw all that back in the back. Oh bullshit! I am. It's 65. 65. Anyways, and then what you do is that you drive around. You've got to go back to the scale and scale out the full weight of the truck. And then you go back to the gatehouse, where they pull in the vehicle. I grab all of the electronics and weapons and stuff like that. They put all that into like this lock box that's by the gate, and then you go in and get filled up by a guard, while like a couple of other guys do a full sweep of the truck. and they check both inside and out. Once all that's done, you go inside, and what we had to do was kind of go around this building and go back in this back corner, do a back up, and then flip back around and come back to the middle of the back of the building, and then I had to hand my keys to one of the loaders so that he could take the lock off of the back of the trailer, because I hadn't done that yet. Once you're inside, you're not allowed to actually leave the vehicle. So he opens up the doors. I back on in, and it takes him like 15 minutes to unload the truck, which is awesome. That crew should really train some of the other warehouses out there. And then once that's done, with the doors open, you go back up to the gate. They do another sweep of the truck to make sure no one crawled under it while I was back there. You get all your stuff back again. You go across the scale one more time, and then that's it. That's your day, you know. Got to pop my ear for a second here. I'm going down in altitude really fast here. So yeah, I ended up going to prison. I did some time. I'm a changed man now. The only thing that really sucked about that one, though, was I had to pick up in the same area, and this was all in Texas, okay, in like no man's land. And the problem that I had was that I had to do a pickup, but there was like no place within like probably about 100 miles where I could wash out the trailer. So once I was done with that load, I got to a truck stop and spent like 2 hours cleaning the trailer out myself. It wasn't something simple, you know, where I just get like wood chips out or something like that. There was a couple spots where I had to do quite a bit of scrubbing. Love that view. But that allowed me to pick up another load, which sent me over to Los Lunas. And by that point, I was getting short on hours. And you know, the good news is that going to Los Lunas, this was a Walmart load. The load itself was another drop in the hook. Okay, you show up, you drop off your trailer, pick up an empty and go. On that D-Day though, I had like 5 hours of driving and just a tad over 6 to do it in. So I didn't have a whole lot of time left. I did manage to get it done though. I got down there, you know, kept a couple numbers low, like the shipper receiver, my fuel stops, stuff like that. Got the load done and bebopped down to a Love's that was like 10 miles away. And I guess they decided to give me a 34-hour rest break at that point. It was actually more like 48. You know, I was See, I was down for pretty much the rest of that day and like all day yesterday, right up until this morning. And then what they did was they gave me a load that's down here in Phoenix, which was really unusual. Usually what happens is when we drop off a load in Los Lunas, we end up going up to like Liberal, Kansas. But for some reason I got a load down in Phoenix, which is actually a hell of a deadhead, coming from going from Los Lunas to Phoenix. I mean, it's basically a all day drive. This is probably one of the longest deadheads that I have ever had. The actual pickup is for tomorrow at noon. And then hopefully that's going to get me back in the rotation. That's going to send me up to the Bay Area, and in the news recently, they've been saying that more and more places are opening up. So at this point, I am going to consider that when I go down to the Bay Area, that traffic may be going back to how it used to be before the virus came in. And then once I pick up from there, or once I drop off there, I've got to go pick up a load in Fresno, and that's going to take me over to Denton in Texas, which it's a pretty good chance it'll probably be like a Target. That's kind of what I'm thinking it is. I got 3 possibilities, or 3 regular ones that I should say. They might always hit me up with a new address. But I mean that's how that's how it is. In the span of like a couple of weeks, you could literally go east coast to west coast and back again. You could be all over the place, doing all kinds of fun stuff. Okay, I think about this point we should be pretty close to the bottom. That there was 18 miles of downgrade. Basically, we're driving into a canyon here. Sorry. The next part, so this hill that's directly in front of me, I'm going to start going back up. Now, normally if I had a fully loaded trailer, that would be a real pain in the rear. Since I'm empty, yeah, I'll probably still get knocked down to like 50. I mean, it's a pretty steep climb going back up, but I am going to be passing up vehicles like left and right up there. Well, actually, hopefully just left, but there really shouldn't be any slow vehicles in the left lane. But we'll see if all of the recording works for this video. If it does, I'll get it posted. In the meantime, I've got a lot of videos that I made that are in storage, and I just haven't really gotten around to like searching through them, you know, putting them all together yet. There's a couple of fascinating ones in there. I got one where I'm going to cross the 18-mile bridge down south, really long bridge. There's another one where I passed by, I believe it's the USS Alabama. I got a really good view of the battleship. I'll see if I can get that one up and going, and I'll take a look for anything else that might be kind of fascinating. Oh yeah, before I quit, there was a little bit, I guess, in trucking news. They're making a couple changes, and I guess one of the big ones I saw is they are turning for the rest break. They are turning the 8-2 split into a 7-3, which is kind of fascinating. That was actually always one of my biggest gripes, was that you would show up at the warehouse and it would take a place like 7 hours to unload you. By that point in time, your clock is dead, but you haven't been shut down long enough to get the 8-hour rest break back. And then, you know, the warehouse will finish up with you and then be all like, get the hell off of our property. Well, they're changing it to a 7-3 split. I don't know when that's going to go into effect, but that's really going to help. That means that if you show up at the place, if you know that they're going to take a long time, put yourself to a sleeper berth. 7 hours later, you get whatever left of the 14 that you haven't used yet back. There were a couple of other things, like I can't remember them off the top of my head. They're all in the email. But I think we will probably call it quits. I'm about to go back uphill. We don't really need to watch this. So I will talk to you guys later.